Hi, thank you for joining us. We've got some great Super Sunday games to preview today. We're looking at the two televised games. We're starting with the one captured, which is on your screen now. Southampton versus Norwich is the first kickoff. I'm delighted to say I'm joined by our successful, and you can check his tips on the previous videos or hit subscribe and you get them all in the future. Gio Mackie joins me to discuss the game today, and then we'll focus on the Swansea versus Man United game afterwards as well. So 10 minutes for us to get some real good tips and analysis in. Hi, Gio.
Good evening, Sam.
How you doing?
Not bad, thank you.
Excellent. That's what we like to hear. You're back with us in picture as well as in spirit, which is always good news. We'll touch briefly on these two teams. Southampton, for me, an enigma this year. Obviously, dealt with another summer of reassembling a quality squad. Big losses, players like Nathaniel Klein leaving that, has been one of the most consistent players in their side for a long time. Gio, is it going to be a case of Southampton's season will be cursed by the Europa League, or you're going to find that they can rebuild that consistency?
I don't think they'll be as good as last year, but I don't think they would have been as good as last year without the Europa League. I think now and again some teams get that fluke season that everything just goes right, and that happened for Southampton. So clubs like Southampton have to be in European competition. They have to grow their club away from England to attract top quality players. They're doing that at the minute thanks to their manager. They're bringing in hidden gems especially from the Dutch league that he knows about that no one really has unearthed yet. Eventually his talent pool is going to run out and they have to be able to bring in top players, and the way to do that is in European competition. So big fair play to the match. I really want him to do well in Europe.
No, and he's approached it in the right way. I'll probably upset you now by saying I think West Ham did the wrong thing to approach it the way they did, but you are nodding with me, so I must be saying something right. With regards to them, I would say if they were struggling in January, been knocked out Europa League, and they were struggling, say they were lower half of the table, they would have finances to go out and buy some players as well and spend big in January with all the money that they've made. Norwich, been a bit of a surprise, possibly. I watched their first game of the season against my team, Crystal Palace. Palace were a bit lucky. Cameron Jerome had that goal disallowed. They've since collected points. Gio, Norwich, are we underestimating them just because they've not made multiple signings?
Well, you're not listening in the relegation anti-post. I tipped them to be in the top half. So no, they're not surprising me. I think they'll surprise a lot of people who haven't looked into Norwich and their manager enough. Because of their manager, I'm a big fan of Norwich and I really want them to do well. And they're not surprising me, and I don't think their run's going to end any time soon.
Wow. He's obviously come out and said, the manager, that he is struggling to get players in at Norwich, which is a bit of a concern because I do think they need to strengthen. But yeah, I think I agree with you on the anti-post hangout. You can check that out, guys. Just scroll back through our videos. We've got some great anti-post videos that are still really relevant because we're only a few games in, and it's quite good to see at the end of the season who was right and who was wrong. But Gio did feel quite strongly about all the promoted teams, and you can see his views there. I think they are going to need some more strength and depth. Looking at this game in particular, interesting. Gio, you are going to tell us later why you're looking at the away team as a possible option. On the face of it, are Norwich going to sit and defend and play for a point?
I'd be very surprised. I'll just bring up the stats now. You have to look at their manager here. He took over Norwich in January. In the Championship, they played 12 away games. He won 8 and drew 4 of them. He goes away to attack. He does not sit back. If you want to look further back, go up to Scotland when he was the manager of Hamilton. He won at Celtic with Hamilton. If you're not into Scottish football, Hamilton are not a very good side. They've got no crowd at all. There's no money there. But what he achieved at Hamilton was phenomenal. And the fact they're struggling since he's left sums him up. He's a brilliant manager, and I don't think he's going to go to Southampton and defend at all.
No, that's fair. You're putting your neck on the line a little bit. I like that. Obviously, these games have been played at different levels of football the last couple of years. Both teams have had plummets, and both have summited back up to the Barclays Premier League. You can see there the average goals in those games. Well, 3.25. Suddenly over 2.5 goals, Gio. If you think that Norwich are not going to be here to park the bus, just over 21 to 20 with Bet Victor. What are we thinking? Fair price?
It's a nice price, actually. I thought it'd been a bit shorter than that because I think Norwich are the type of team, they know their capabilities and they know that they're probably going to concede against the better sides on paper, like Southampton. Therefore, to get anything, they're going to have to find the net rather than try and play for nil-nils, which I think Burnley tried at the start of last season and backfired massively. They had a few nil-nils. A point is not enough in the Premier League. Sometimes you have to go and get that bonus points. This is a bonus. If they can get anything from this game, I think this is what you would consider a bonus point if you're looking to avoid relegation. And to do that, they're going to have to attack Southampton.
No, that's interesting. Fair enough. Not a particularly dirty game with averages of just around 3 cards a game, this one. And I don't think either team you'd associate with particularly foully, bad, poor football. Gio, you like your referees, but you can't see anything like a bloodbath in this one, can you? No red cards?
No, I've looked into the referees. I've tried to look into it for cards, but I'm not going down. I think it's Jonathan Moss is the referee. No, he keeps it calm, but these are ball playing. These teams play football properly. Like you said, there's no dirty tactics of that. So I think this is a game of gentlemen on Sunday, if you like.
Excellent. And that on the screen there's not really a stat, is it, as such as a statement. Southampton yet to win their league game yet this season. Obviously, the Everton defeat shocked a few people, namely ourselves, because we both couldn't see past the Southampton win when we spoke about the game. You don't think it's their fault? You think it's just a bit of a circumstances, the reason they've not got off the mark yet?
I think the Europa League might affect them for now, because you look at other teams. Let's forget about the Europa League. There's no team yet 100% match fit. The only team that's really hit the ground running, there's 2, I would say, and that's Leicester and Man City. The rest of them are still building up their fitness, if you like. But Southampton have got a lot of games to contend with. I think they'll be fine, but I think they're coming to terms with it.
Right, let's get your bet on the screen then, Gio. No more sitting on that fence. And you're opting for Norwich or draw at just under even money. That's around 10 to 11. That's available in most places. So I've not really gone with a specific bookmaker on that one. Gio, you're going directly against OLBG. The app and our members are all over Southampton at 20 to 21 with Bet Victor. Come on then. I'm the man in the middle. You've got to convince me. Why should I be looking at your bet rather than OLBG?
Well, I would turn it around and say, why Southampton? You've just said they've not won a game all season. They've got a game on Thursday night before the weekend. So why would you go with Southampton? They've also got 2 players who are very much wanted in this transfer window. One of them by Manchester United, who are in dire need of an attacking midfielder. And if Mane I don't think he's the type of person who's going to hang around if the bid comes in. Then you've got Victor Wanyama, who apparently is asked to leave. It's not been confirmed yet, but he's supposedly extremely unhappy. Then the fact you've got an 18-year-old defender of Southampton coming out saying them 2 need to focus, that concerns me that there's an 18-year-old telling them to focus. But for Norwich, like I said, Alex Neil is a fantastic manager, but they've got a work ethic I really like. The team spirit is so obvious to see, when they scored, even when they made it 3-0 at Sunderland, they were celebrating like they just had a 90th minute winner. And that type of team spirit will get you an extra few points.
Okay, well, I'm going to make the case for Southampton and the OLBG members, and I had a flick through some of the early comments on the app, and the suggestion was that Southampton, this is going to be their bread and butter, that they'll be all right. These games after Europa League are not ones to oppose them. It's going to be when they're taking an away trip to somewhere a little bit more challenging, a Crystal Palace, an Everton, a West Ham, a team that's going to be in and around them rather than relegation fodder. Gio, I'll give you a chance to come back at me on that one briefly. Do you think that's a fair assessment, that these are the games you shouldn't be worrying about? It's going to become the dark winter nights when they've got half a patched up squad, they've flown back, and they've got an early kickoff on the Saturday to face a tough Crystal Palace team or West Ham team away, someone that's within their bracket of competition?
I don't know. I think I get what you mean, but I think every game's important now, and it's very important you do not go on a horrid run at the start of the season. We're away to go into the international break, and the last thing you want to be doing is going in with what you would call a measly points tally. If Southampton go into this break with say they get beaten Sunday, if they go into this break with just 2 points out of 4 games, they're not going to be concerned as such, but they're going to be looking at themselves thinking, we've got to change something here, because whatever they've done has not been good enough so far. Norwich, they've been fine so far, and I'm confident on Sunday night Norwich will not have been beaten.
Excellent. Well, that wraps up the preview for the early kickoff. We'll now move on to a game that I think is going to be very interesting indeed. We're going to look ahead to, wow, it's a huge game for the away team in my book. We're looking, of course, at Swansea, who, let's not write them off at all. We're not going to sit here and talk all about Man United, but they face a Manchester United team that are going to be looking to bounce back. And there's one man in particular that's going to be under great pressure. Gio, Wayne Rooney, we talked about last week. I'm worried about him now. He's going to lead my dream team this weekend, I think. What's your view?
Well, I wasn't overly keen on him last weekend. I'm not keen on him again. I think we spoke last weekend about him, but it's not working. Him up front on his own, it's just not working. And I think he was almost sulky against Newcastle. I think there's moments it looked like he was just ready to have a strop with someone. But the international breaks come at a good time for him, I think. I think he's one player that's going to benefit from getting away from Manchester United, getting to his England setup with more familiar players, if you like. I don't know. I just think there's a wee bit of a trust thing going on at Man United. I think there's stuff to come out of Old Trafford at some point.
Certainly interesting view on Manchester United. I'll take a quick line on a couple of things with you on them. Schweinsteiger, do you think he should start the game? Carrick, do you think he should start the game? Who's going to be the man to miss out in the middle of the park, do you think? And also, what would you do if they're not going to sign anyone? Has Hernandez got to play? You got to have to build him into the team?
Why is Hernandez not starting this weekend? You know, Rooney's had 3 games now. He's been poor in all 3 and in the Champions League one. You know, that's 4 games now where he's been anonymous. He hasn't been in the game. So why is he playing a 5th game in a row? This is where Hernandez needs to be knocking on his manager's door, saying, "Oh, where's my start?" You know, there's a lot of rumours linking him away with Old Trafford, and Van Gaal keeps saying he's staying, at least until he finds someone else. But you've got to give him a chance. They need to do business, Man United.
Okay. I think that sums up Man United pretty nicely. I'll just give you my view that I think the signing of Schweinsteiger could be one of the biggest awkward situations to have to deal with, because the money he's on, he can't be left out of the team if he's fit, and it's going to put people's noses out of joint. And I just didn't. I thought it was an odd signing. I really did, especially when they're lacking in strikers. You're fine to put Phil Jones in midfield if you need to, if you want to block there. They need someone else. A team that probably don't need some new signings. I don't think they do anyway. Swansea, Gio. Obviously, we're neutral to them as such. I really like them. I think they're the Arsenal of the mid-table. But to me, they play great, effective football. You love them. And let's not forget, you put up a tip that they'd get a goal against Chelsea at even money, and that was well and truly landed. Your views on Swansea?
Huge fan. If I wasn't brought up a West Ham fan, if I started getting into football now, I had to pick a team to support, it would be them. I just love watching them. I think they're fantastic. Huge fan of Gary Mogg and my tips. I've got 2 or 3, and the fact that my Swansea bias is going to shine through, I'm afraid, Sam.
Okay, well, we'll let you have a Swansea bias. Who's been the key player for you this season for them, do you think, so far? Who's really caught your eye?
Gormy, suppose 9 goals in his last 10 games or something for Swansea, overlapping last season. It's fantastic. I don't like his tiger celebration, which, if he keeps hitting the net, he can do that tiger celebration as much as he wants. West Ham were linked with him last season, and I didn't really want him. I was quite worried we were going to get him, actually. But now, I'm wishing we did, because he's another striker with huge confidence at the minute. The way he rounded the keeper against Newcastle, he took the ball around Tim Krul. He needs confidence to try and take the ball around the goalie.
Yeah, that's a very fair point. So let's have a little look at some of the stats I'm going to fire off at you. Average goals, you're looking at over 2.5, 2.63, 6 to 5 generally across the marketplace. Could be quite fair given both teams. United haven't been prolific, but Swansea will play attacking football, especially at home. Let's not forget the fixture ended 2-1 last year, and Swansea came back from behind. So there's a clear testament to their character in that. And as we mentioned, Wayne Rooney's under a bit of pressure there. At the moment, he's opened up around 11-2 for first goal scorer. Gio, are you surprised? I know he's out of form, but for a Man United central striker, he probably will start the only striker on the pitch for them. That's a big price. Now I can't remember seeing Man United strikers that big away from home.
Yeah, but would you personally take that bet though? Going by what you've seen so far this season, would you put your money on that 11-2? And be honest.
Not at all, Gio. That's why I'm asking your opinion on it. I was just curious because I think that shows you the level of form. If bookmakers are willing to let a Manchester United centre forward to go off at 11-2, 6-1 even, to be first goal scorer, shows you no one else is backing him in the outside world. And I hope he comes good for England's chances in the summer, but that's a different story. Just your view on Swansea at home. Do you think they can make it a bit of a fortress?
I think they did enough last season. They lost just 4 games at home last season, which outside the top 6 was the best. They lost. Tottenham also lost more games at home than Swansea, so they were fine at home last season. I think it's going to get even tougher because they did the double on Man U and Arsenal last season. Monk, in 27 games, 27 home games, Monk has been in charge. He's only lost 8. That's a fantastic record for such a young manager. And when he took over, Swansea, they were a good side. They weren't high flying.
I think that's very fair. Let's bring the bets up on screen. Hey, listen, Gio's a man. He makes a tip and he'll stick by it. A few people will be surprised at this one, especially you United fans watching. Add your comments, obviously before the game, not afterwards. Give us your predictions. You can either comment on this video or wherever you found it on our Twitter page, or if you're watching via Google+, just add your comments. Give us your max prediction. Tell us, is Gio right? Is he wrong? If you're a United fan, do you want to see more players sign? Subscribe and get more of the videos. But you can see on the screen, Gio heads for a Swansea win. Gio, just you've eulogised about them already. What was the one thing that's tipped you over the edge on Swansea winning this game? Is there one particular factor?
There's 2. It's Swansea in the start of the season, the way they play football. And second, Man U failed to score in 3 of the last 5 away games in the Premier League. I don't think they're the same team away from home as at Old Trafford. And even at Old Trafford, they haven't impressed me. I think they were lucky against Spurs. They weren't that great against Newcastle. When they played away to Villa, they weren't overly impressive either. And I'm being generous, just sticking with the Swansea win. There's a few other things I want to throw in to enhance the price further, but I've stayed away from it. I'll put that as my main bet. But should my Saturday bets go okay, I'm going to be investing quite a bit of money in this Swansea team on Sunday.
Wow, certainly interesting to hear. OLBG, I searched the app, and at the moment we're a little bit undecided, and I think it'll end up being the draw on the app. But both teams to score already had a strong following. Do you think that that's being tipped up, Gio, at 10-11 with William Hill, best price? I think Bet365 about the same as well. Do you think that's because of the fact that if you're a person that's watched Man United, they're not going to have this goal drought forever. They're going to have to play some football to score some goals. Van Gaal can't get away with not scoring goals, home or away.
Yeah, they've got the talent there, Man U. I know I've laughed at Wayne Rooney so far, but he is capable of popping up with a wonder goal. They've got Depay as well now, who I think will be really, really good in the Premier League. It just needs a bit of time. Mata as well, he's incapable of unlocking any defence in the Premier League. And Januzaj is actually looking like he's in a little bit of form. He's been linked away, which is a bit strange. He started the last couple of games and he's looked a little bit dangerous. Could add something a bit different. I can understand why members are going for that. Will I go for it? I don't know. But
okay, that's fine though. You're not knocking it completely. So anyone watching, if you download the ORBG app, even Gio can't beat the members sometimes. So don't forget to subscribe to more of these videos. We've got loads coming up ahead of the season. Obviously, the international break's coming up. We may try and cover some international football. We'll have to wait and see. Or possibly just round up what we've learned from the first month or so of the Barclays Premier League. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, add your comment, click a thumbs up, and tell us something. Tell us what you think. We love your views. Gio, we had one in really quickly. I'm going to ask on last week. Chelsea, have they got any chance of winning the title at this stage, being so far behind already? Just really quickly, in a word.
Yes, I think Pedro is that kind of player. I think he can turn games. He's shown it already. Just one game, he's shown he can change it. But they need some teams to do them a favour against Man City.
Interesting. Well, there you go. We don't just give you tips of the games. We give you a little bit of insight towards what we think is going to happen throughout the week. Add us on your YouTube channel, subscribe, and you'll get all our tips. We are winning. We're going to do the end of the first month. We're going to do a little bit of a projected chart and tell you what we've won. But it's been big. We sometimes do the clean sweep and get 3 out of 3. So just add us, and we look forward to getting your company. And don't forget to add your comments in, and be lucky and enjoy Super Sunday.